What's going on, everybody? This is episode 11 of Microsoft Recap. Today is your host, as usual, Mike B. Also on here, my man, Mike Bennett. Mike Baker. My name is Mike Baker. I keep saying Mike B to Mike Bennett. Mike Baker, Mike Bennett. What's going on? Baker and Bennett. It's the Baker and Bennett show. What's going on?
What's going on, people?
Today's topics we got this show for Microsoft Recap, talking about all the ups and downs of Microsoft, pros and cons. A lot of the biggest companies out there, and Microsoft is peaked at one of them five, at least one of the top 10 companies of the world that's out there that's doing
it all the time.
And got a couple topics that we want to talk the other day about. First topic that we're going to do is the 3 risks that Microsoft faces due to this Amazon Jedi contract challenge. As we talked about it earlier, that Microsoft had won that contract, but apparently they are being held up because Amazon is suing them because of that, or suing the government because of that. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Next topic that we have is that Microsoft's new Office app will arrive on iOS and Android with mobile-friendly features. If you didn't know already, Microsoft Office exists if you've been around since like 1990. But they're coming out with mobile apps that offer some new functionality and features. They had some before, but this one is a little bit different. And the last topic that we're going to talk about is Microsoft says that people don't trust the election results, and that is going to be pitching a new technology as the potential solution with its like real-time features. A little subset on here says it faced its first real-time test recently, or real-life test. But yeah, first topic that we're going to talk about is the 3 risks that Microsoft faces due to Amazon's Jedi contract challenge. Like I said before, the Pentagon, I believe it was, I think it's more than just the CIA. The Pentagon had put a contract out trying to revitalize its IT industry, its IT infrastructure, trying to take advantage of all the features that the cloud has to offer. And they put a $10 billion contract out there and try to see which company will be the best one positioned to take that contract on. And ultimately, Microsoft had been seen as the winner of that contract for the $10 billion. But Amazon quickly put the government on blast, put the Pentagon on blast by essentially suing the government. Saying yes. I mean, they saying like, we deserve this contract. We earned this contract, and we believe that Microsoft does not. And that actuality, that more than likely they think that a lot of this, that the contract got denied to them because of interference with the president and the campaign. That he has a big push of how he doesn't like Jeff Bezos and how Amazon needs to be broken down and broken up. It's been one of those things with Trump, like Trump against any other businessman, like it's in the top business industry, all the top, CEOs that are out there, none of them really consider Trump an actual businessman. I mean, all of them talk bad down about him. You got, Mike Bloomberg out here running around talking about how Trump never really made any money. Everybody knows that Trump made a lot of his money from his father and whatnot. And he has like a real spot for trying to get at Jeff Bezos. He really doesn't like Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos grinds his gears.
Yeah, he's like he's a real billionaire, and he doesn't like that dude for some reason. Part of it being the fact that he bought the Washington Post, and that he moved to a house. He has a house that's in, or at least a location in DC, where he uses that location to help him with lobbying in Congress. That's money. Money is big play in the White House.
Yeah, politics, man.
Yeah.
I already know.
It's apparently, since Trump doesn't like him, they were supposed to do the finalization on that contract back in like August, Trump put a hold on it, and then next thing you know, sometime around October, Microsoft ended up winning the contract, and they're trying to say that that's because of Trump's interference.
I disagree. Well, I don't see. This is what I see is happening, man, and I can see that plight. I think what's happening is that someone. So when something like this happens, I think it points to somebody's playing favorites, right? Like, this my man's over here, so he gets priority. Like, that's kind of how it goes. I don't think that it has anything to do with Trump trying to demonize or trying to assassinate Jeff Bezos' character and that affecting how things turned out. I think it just comes down to the tenure. Like I've said several times before, that Microsoft has had with government business. Right. You tend to go with the one who has the stronger resume, even if just like typically when we're looking for a job, somebody that's already with the company, right, or has worked with the company before, that's left on a good note, that wants to come back, will probably have more say as getting back with the company and having establishing some type of work-based connection with them, because they worked there before. And I think that's what's happening here. I don't think I think with them trying to say that Trump has been I think that the word, I want to know the lawful word for it. I think it may be racketeering or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, but whatever the lawful term is for it.
This man is technically impeached.
Yeah.
He's just not removed. He's impeached, but he's just not removed.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's one of those things. Like he definitely plays the line when it comes to what's legal and what's not.
Yeah, of course. Just like, and I think that's what they're trying to do with Amazon, is trying to use that as a means to establish a solid case. I don't think it's going to work, because that's just by them saying that Trump is doing something to mess with Amazon's ability to barter a price or win a contract, it's just hearsay. It's not, you can't really write anything down or codify something to say Trump has said this directly towards that contract that's happening that caused it not to for them to not win it over. So it's just, I think it's a lot of bickering. It sounds like it's going on. It's not anything really. It's
like they trying to discount Microsoft, like all the years of Microsoft's work and effort that they've been putting in being the company that they are. They try and just downplay it all the way down to Trump just saying, I don't want y'all to, I'm choosing somebody different. I mean, like, Trump really has that much power. I mean, like, he's not an IT professional. I mean, like, he doesn't, he's barely a professional in all the industries that he's in. Yeah, I mean, let alone a technology professional. Yeah, I mean, so it's very unlikely that he would add the inside say on it. They said that the judge felt like there was some merit to the idea that that his involvement may have been part of the reason, saying like that, just his word of mouth alone is enough to actually make people take a second look and then potentially choose somebody else. But they're really going to be going into trying to figure out whether this is a viable thing or not, because I mean, their reputation is on the line, because this is a big contract and it says a lot just to earn the contract. I mean, if you found out that to be better than another company, like Amazon is considered the number one cloud company. They have about 30% of the market, like 32% of the market. And if you are Microsoft and you happen to win a contract out over Amazon, your potential ends up increasing like exponentially, because what they were saying in here, like, if you're good enough for the government, then you're good enough for public sector. You're good enough for the private sector. I mean, so like, if they happen to win this contract with the Pentagon, then that means other companies be like, well, yeah, they're good for us too. I mean, and it's a big hit on their market if they don't happen to do that. Like, the impact on their growth, like their ability to actually become a dominating cloud company, is really kind of is kind of important. It really relies on the outcome of this court case.
Yeah, I think with the cloud technology in regards to information technology is relatively new, right? So I mean, IT. I mean, you can debate, what is information technology, right? What is IT? But we can codify to say that, like 1960, that's when things really got like it started popping, right? Like 1950, 1960. So within that span, like cloud technology is definitely like like the new part of the IT industry. So it's still kind of it's volatile, right? Like you never know. It could be some company that comes out. Toshiba comes with some type of technology that kind of sets the whole like industry ablaze. But now they got it, So with it, cloud tech and how good it is and how new it is, how being as volatile as an industry sub industry, like there, what I see with Amazon, why it's such like a pressing matter. Where this is not like really a Cold War type of thing. This is like they really trying to go to war with this is because whoever can establish, I think, within like a 10 or 20-year period, like the dominance within a certain industry, it's they pretty much stay there. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there's other uh beverage industries beverage companies that try to come out with some type of cola, right? But because Pepsi and Coke, kind of was there when it was being created as this thing or marketed as this thing, that position they're gonna hold that forever. Like no one's ever. Whenever you think that the actual name of that beverage is like cola, but when you think of that, you only think Pepsi or Coke. You don't think
Right.
uh, Pop Top or something, whatever subset, Polar Cola. You don't think nothing like that, right? You know what I mean? So I think that same thing is happening. That same dynamic is happening with cloud tech right now between the tech giants with Amazon, Microsoft, even you throw Google in there, So yeah, this went. It makes sense because you look at the amount. It's like 10 billion, and these companies are pushing to a trillion. Which you talking about money, like 10 billion is already a lot. You know what I mean? But you talking about they close to trillions. Like what is $10 billion to $1 trillion? But it's more so, I think, what the one here is trying to establish, like who holds that position of dominance in the industry. And right now, Amazon is losing the battle. I would say with in this particular battle, I think they, like you said, they kind of have it as far as the war goes right now, where they see the potential threat and they're trying to stop that because whoever it's that thing of whoever gets hot, you know what I mean? Like almost like the rap industry. You may have somebody that's been there for a while, but you got this new guy come out that got all this blaze, and like now the old guy kind of falls off. So it's interesting to see what happens with this, man. I just don't think they can blame it on Trump. They can't do that.
That $10 billion goes a long way because that 10 billion is just really going to come from the Pentagon. But what they were mentioning on here is that like a lot of the contractors that they work with will probably more than likely also be using Microsoft if they run with it. Like whatever cloud provider Pentagon goes with, all of the contractors that also do work with the Pentagon are more than likely going to go with them as well. I mean, so like Lockheed Martin, Northern Grumman, if they find that Amazon that the Pentagon chose Microsoft, that incentivizes them more to also go with Microsoft. And I mean, right now, in my mind personally, when I think of the cloud, I think of Google. But for the majority of people, if they think of the cloud in the industry, they tend to think AWS. Microsoft is one of those companies that really, really wants to synonymize themselves with the name of cloud. Right now, it's really only the professionals that actually even know that Microsoft is in the cloud. The rest of people just remember Microsoft from Microsoft Windows.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to move on, but I feel like whatever happens with this court case is going to be real big in the next couple of years. Over the next 10 years, it might take a while for this court case to even happen, though. That's one weird thing. Next topic that we got though is talking about Microsoft Office, because Microsoft has definitely been dominant with the Office platform for since like 1994 or whatever, however long it's been out. Since Excel, I think Excel been out since the 80s on like Basic or whatever. But they have this new app that they're basically coming out with on iOS and Android that's supposed to bring some mobile friendly features. And if you haven't used Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, you probably not watching this podcast. Y'all not listening to this because y'all probably don't use computers. Like, but if you have used a computer, more than likely you have used Word and Excel at least, or PowerPoint at least. And now they're coming out with features on iOS. For one thing that they decided to do is that they're combining this all into one app. So the top three, which is Excel, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Word, are all going to be housed under one application now. More than likely tied to their OneDrive platform because that's their storage platform. But one of the things that they also mentioned on here is that they're not going to limit it to just OneDrive. Is that they're also going to allow for a Dropbox, which are two separate companies. There's Box and then there's Dropbox, Google Drive, and then iCloud. So like essentially, you'll be able to use this Microsoft application, this Office suite, and be able to store your stuff in any one of these other cloud systems automatically. It'll just sort of be like a one button save up to the cloud feature.
That's what's happening here.
Yeah, that's a great move on Microsoft's part. They're trying to corner that market again, and part of them not building their own platform because they got rid of Windows Phone. Build out the best apps on both of those other services.
I think that phone's one of the part of that. We did a little article on like the top 10 flops of the past decade. It was one of those Windows.
Yeah. Windows Phone was definitely a flop of all of 2010. Yeah. Ever since 2007, everybody got rid of Windows Mobile, anything for the most part. I swear, I remember the Windows Mobile era. I was in love with my smartphone back then, And then they came out with the iPhone. It's like, man, fuck. Just had to toss it. Like, but they're trying to reclaim their dominance with the Office platform because Microsoft G Suite has been out there like trying to eat Microsoft's lunch for a while now, and they've been doing a good job with it, being that they're a cloud first platform. Office 365 is sort of turned around and taken that market back. And I mean, this is just another push for that because just the old desktop version of Microsoft Office just doesn't work anymore. Just having that stuff on your computer only on that one computer just isn't the way to work anymore. And all this stuff needs to be accessible from the cloud to the cloud and from anywhere you are using mobile services. Some of the features that they got on there, some slick new things that they're going to be introducing. One of them is like dictation, word dictation, being able to just press the microphone button on there and just having it be able to write out what you're saying and being able to put in like lists, those bulleted items and whatnot. Being able to turn Microsoft Word file into a PowerPoint presentation pretty quickly. Whole bunch of little things. Being able to navigate through like the spreadsheets a little bit better. Like you click on a spreadsheet row or column or whatever, and it turns into like a card that you can interact with a little bit more. Just small little features. Just trying to keep their dominance in that position.
Trying to give some features that people will like, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, because I mean they've been dominant for a while. It's just like they do have competition at their feet, and they gotta play the game, and they're doing the damn job right now when it comes to playing that game. It's productivity.
Yeah, I try to sit here and think about how it seems like Microsoft has done a good job, I guess, maintaining the brand, but then adopting new ways to develop the brand. I remember because when you think of something like this and Microsoft, like back in the days, you would automatically, it would be you having to pay for the app and then it only being accessible on like OneDrive or some of that, because that's how it was, But now that they have taken on, whoever's sitting at the board now has the company moving in a direction where they are a lot more open and a lot more. They're making this stuff a lot more easily accessible. Is benefiting them in a positive way because they'd be able to do that, but still maintain their sense of exclusivity, if you will. because it's not, be it that you're able to, for example, like if I had a Word document, I can just save it on whichever cloud service, whether it be Dropbox or Box, whatever the case is. It's good, and in a sense, it makes Microsoft. It will make people use the product more rather than you only having like a you have to have they developed this for a Windows phone and you have to pay for it and you only store it on Drive. Like it wouldn't have hit. So
Yeah.
I like what they're doing. It's the direction that they're moving, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're definitely taking that Google approach where they're just giving out stuff for free. As long as people use it, they can maintain their dominance just from people using it more. Whereas, I mean, yeah, like you said, they had those barriers of entry for a long time that just made people not want to even start using that stuff. It was like, first I got to buy the damn thing,
Right.
then I got to buy the right version, then I got to make sure it's compatible, and like it was too many limitations where Google came out with their product and they were just like, yo, use it anywhere, use it for free, it's compatible with all this other stuff, and it work everywhere. I mean, like that's a hard thing to compete against. Like you got all that for real.
What we gonna do with that?
I mean, the hardest part for people was just to figure out, oh, I don't have to install anything. I just gotta go to the website.
Yeah.
And that was like the hardest barrier entry for people trying to get used to G Suite stuff. But Microsoft definitely they turn in the ship pretty fast, which is one of the things I like because if depending on how long they were taking to turn that ship around, they could be losing all of their client base. There's a lot of people that would easily switch to another platform if they felt like it was a need to, and they've been able to turn that ship around fast enough for them to keep their fan base going. I stopped being a fan of Microsoft Office years ago, like before Obama was president. But like, there's a lot of reasons that make me think about potentially going back to Office. And I haven't done so yet, but I'm looking into it. Last topic that we got for y'all people is that Microsoft is getting into the election game. So it says that Microsoft says that people don't trust the election results and that it's pitching its own technology as a resolution or as a solution, and that it just faced its real life test or its first real life test. And this just happened a couple weeks ago. They had the elections that went on in Wisconsin, or at least like a pre-election. What do you call those elections where it's like early voter elections or whatever? But they're testing out this new platform that they call an election guard, and essentially is software, but it's software tied to physical hardware, essentially a printer. And it's what they're doing is that they're allowing for you to take those digital votes that you do either through like a touch screen or a touchpad tablet or something like that. I haven't read in here if they're actually trying to do like remote voting, but they're trying to make it so that that process that you do digitally can't be hacked. And right now, the main thing that has been happening is that every time you use one of those tablets, they don't necessarily count those votes as quickly because they want to do double and triple verification to make sure that those votes are accurately counted. And what they're basically coming out with, all this is basically coming out with is just saying, hey, we're going to print out these results and we're going to print them out anonymously using QR codes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, great idea, Microsoft. Like, okay, we just going to print out a copy. Y'all all right, so y'all going to do y'all digital vote. Y'all going to vote on this digital thing, and we're going to print out an anonymous copy of your votes. You can look at it and say, all right, this is the accurate vote, and put it in there and hand it off, or whoever, how they have a attendant just standing around while you're voting. That person will take that piece of paper and put it in the ballot. It's one of those things where they'll count the digital vote, but then they'll verify that vote with the paper vote.
With the paper, yeah. I mean, I think it's valid in the sense that we know for a fact that historically elections can't be trusted. We know been living long enough and voting long enough, you know that George Bush stole one of the presidencies. Like, you know that for a fact it happens.
You know, the Trump stole the damn presidency.
You know what I mean? Like,
he
so
did
we know
not
these.
win that popular vote.
You know what I mean? Like, so we know these things happen, and them actually, you know, using this in the time of election is not only, I think, a brilliant business move, but it's they found a way to be able to not have to market what they're like over market what they're pushing out because it's a valid point. I still would debate though, like how how accurate it would. As long as there's someone else that has to do with checks and balances, there's always going to be a level of insecurity you may have to the truth being it being true or not. Because somebody can say, yeah, he did it. If I'm leaving it up to to the attendant collecting all his papers, and he messing around and drop one by mistake, or drop a few thousand, then it's kind of like, all right, well, how effective is it? But I see I get their plight, and I think it's something that actually would be beneficial. Because I've always said to myself when it comes to vote, like, I don't know why they haven't made it so much more like in this time of technology, bro. Like, it's all types of things set up, barriers of entry that's set up that's not really said as or codified as a barrier of entry, right? But them having a plate, you having to go to certain places to vote and all that stuff like that. So with Microsoft kind of, jumping in there with the initiative of saying, look, for those who are, voters and still believe in the power of their vote, like, you can use this application in order to like make sure to verify and turn it in that this is your stance. I think it's good. I would just want to see more actively how it's implemented.
Yeah.
And it kind of in a way with them having this government contracting thing going on, it's like Microsoft is positioning themselves to kind of be even in stronger alliance with the government when they like doing stuff like this, because it's not only just what they're doing on the government side, but then I guess you could consider this almost like, I guess, public or like private sector type of stuff, because it's for the consumer, it's like for the people, but it's for like government purposes. It's just interesting to see what they're doing with this.
Yeah, the governments are the consumers for the people. Yeah. So like the governments are the ones that's going to be paying out to Microsoft, but they're doing it so that the people can have better election options. It's the funny thing is that it's none of this is a new technology. What they ultimately boiled down to is just like all these other versions just aren't going to work because we're relying too heavy on technology. So what we're going to do is use both. We're going to use technology and we're going to print out real world physical printouts. Yeah, I mean, so all we're doing is just really making the elections even more complicated. Yeah, I mean, so like, because right now all the elections are just primarily have been paper ballots. Yeah, I mean, you just print out a paper ballot. I mean, you don't even print out. You just fill out a paper ballot saying your vote. I mean, and when they did try to introduce all these screens, like I've been voting using the tablets or what they call the tablet for a while. When you print it out, you get a receipt. Yeah, I mean, you get like a little receipt, and then it's like that receipt was supposed to be enough to say this person voted, so that they go back and they check the receipt, but the actual receipt didn't have the votes on it. I mean, and at that point, you really only relying on that piece of technology actually being accurate, and that's the part where it gets hacked. Is like, well, is that machine accurate? Whereas in this case, they basically just saying like, all right, we're gonna print your votes out. Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna do everything.
You can use the technology. Yeah, I mean, to vote, but we still gonna print it out, and we're gonna have a copy here, and we just gonna keep a copy here. And it's just like, yo, because there is no way to rely on just technology. Every voting machine that we came up with has been hacked. Every one of them. Every one of them that we came up with, any way that we tried, it doesn't work. So what we just going to do is just be like, all right, you can vote on here, but we ain't going to trust this. You're going to print out that paper. We'll say what this thing did, but we're going to double check with this piece of paper. And that's basically the great idea. And Microsoft came up with it. It's like, it's no idea. It's really just an improved methodology for voting. And I mean, whatever. If it worked, it worked. I mean, as long as we actually see some valid outcomes and we can say, yeah, based on this actually works because we did a double or triple verification. And then at the end of the day, you still got the same issues that you got back in the day, but before technology is like, are the people that actually are dealing with these votes, are they the ones that are messing the votes up? I mean, somebody hopped in this and just threw another 100,000 votes of dead people that were living in cemeteries. We just found out that half of these dead people voted. We got to recount the votes. I mean, that's what happened. Well, I think that's what happened in California. I mean, not California, in Florida back in the day. We were like, yeah, bro. I mean, because I think it was possible. Like Jeb Bush was running Florida at the time, right?
Yeah.
And then they found out like some of these voters are people that ain't even alive anymore. Like, yo, who's voting? Like, yo, like, yo. So, I mean, having the technology there and then having a piece of paper there, both at the same time, does help the situation. It's just really forcing the voter process to potentially be a little bit longer, but at the same time, it might end up actually being more accurate than any voting process than we had before because we're doing double and triple verification checks now instead of just relying on either a piece of paper or a digital technology. You got to rely on both. Now it's just a matter of if the governments actually start using the shit.
Yeah, like that's another
right
thing.
Now, it's a test run.
We'll see. I mean, I think it's gonna move to. Do you think we ever will get away from, move like using, like at all, like paper at all? Like you think I was sitting thinking to myself, like, why does everyone have a unique ID that, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what Social Security numbers are for, right? So
yeah, I mean, I think we will. I think we will because I mean that's the whole point of what people love about the blockchain is that the blockchain potentially offers that verification that we all are relying on to say that this thing is exactly this thing. It couldn't have been hacked. It couldn't have been. It couldn't have been manipulated. It couldn't have been anything because right now anybody could pull out a file, add a couple characters, and close that file out, and it's a different file. And it's like you need some type of world global database that is all communicating with each other, saying that this thing happened exactly for
this time. Yeah. At this place. Yeah.
Yeah, and like had that checked with another machine that can verify that this machine is real and that this information is accurate. Like we don't have that yet, and that's what blockchain is supposed to do. Not the whole crypto, but the thing that crypto is built on. That blockchain is supposed to be the thing that does that. Will we actually see that come to pass? I'd say another 10 years for real. I got another 10 years before we start actually being like, yeah, that blockchain from 2015, it's the future now. I mean,
yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But that's it, man. That's the wrap up. Recap. If y'all like this show, y'all love this show. Y'all already love this show. That's why y'all listen to this show. But if you like this show and want to do something, I want y'all to go ahead and subscribe and follow and comment and share. I mean, let people know about this stuff. I'll share this stuff in some of my social media groups, but I'm thinking I want y'all to go ahead and do that too, because word of mouth is important. Got more stuff coming up for y'all in the next couple of weeks. Just stay tuned and you'll be surprised. This Mike B signing out. Man, Mike Bennett on the line. Take it easy, people.
Take care, y'all. Peace.